My childhood friend tried to ruin my life. Was I right to cut her off? The air crackled with unspoken tension, a storm brewing beneath a veneer of polite smiles. I had no idea the idyllic life I'd meticulously built was about to be detonated by a ghost from my past. A past that had always simmered with a strange undercurrent of jealousy. It all started with Claire. She spread a rumor that I stole her life savings. She's always wanted my life. She told everyone. Little did she know, the game was about to change. I met Claire when we were 11, living in a 2-story house on North Dale Mabry Highway in Tampa. I vividly remember the day she showed up at my door with a pack of Oreos as a welcome gift. She just tossed them at me, laughing and saying, "Mom made me bring you something." Then she grabbed my hand and tugged me toward her backyard, where she had a treehouse her dad built. It sounds silly now, but we climb up there, play pretend, and talk about school and our dreams. Over time, Claire became my best friend. We were thick as thieves. Everyone knew it. My mom would joke that Claire was her second daughter. We walked home from school together, shared our deepest secrets. Well, until high school came along, and things changed. She started dating some guy. Hey then, in our sophomore year, "You're still single. Maybe you're too picky," she'd say, with this subtle way of putting me down. But I let it slide because, well, she was my best friend. The summer before we went to college, we were sitting on the beach, watching the waves crash under the twilight sky, looking out at the water. "You've got everything, Laura," she said. I laughed, thinking it was just a compliment. "What are you talking about?" I asked, genuinely confused. "No, really," she insisted, her voice low. "You've always had it easier. You don't have to try, and things just come to you. Sometimes I feel like you're living my life." She forced a smile, but in her eyes, there was something off. I just laughed it off, a bit awkward. But I remember feeling this prickling sensation in my gut. I brushed it aside, telling myself she was just being dramatic. Claire was always dramatic. We drifted apart in college. I stayed close, going to the University of Florida, while she went all the way to Chicago. We exchanged greetings and the occasional like on social media. I figured it was normal. People grow apart. Then I got engaged to Andrew. Andrew was the type who held the door for everyone. When I posted about our engagement, she commented, "Finally snagged yourself a guy." I brushed it off, but I could feel that same old prickling sensation in my gut. Still, I told myself she was just being playful. As the wedding date drew closer, I got a message from her. "We have to catch up," she texted. "Been way too long, Laura." I was excited. Sure, our friendship had fizzled, but she was my first real friend, the girl I once shared every part of my life with. I thought maybe this could be a chance to reconnect. When she arrived at the rehearsal dinner, she was different. She looked fantastic, honestly, maybe even more glamorous than I'd ever seen her. Her hair was perfectly done, her makeup flawless. But the moment she saw me, I noticed something unsettling in her expression. "Well, Laura," she said, forcing a smile, "you've really done well for yourself, haven't you?" I laughed nervously. "I'm so glad you could be here." She glanced around the room, her eyes lingering on Andrew, who was chatting with my dad by the bar. "So, this is the dream life." Her tone had a strange edge, but I couldn't quite place it. "Yeah," I replied, shrugging. "It's been a journey, but I'm really happy." She just nodded, but her eyes were cold. "Guess you're just lucky." And then she walked off, leaving me standing there, confused. All night, she barely spoke to me, mingling with everyone else, but keeping her distance from me. I kept trying to engage her, but her face was tight and guarded. It was so strange. "I think she's just feeling out of place," Andrew said, trying to comfort me. "It's been years since you guys were close. Maybe she's just nervous or something." Then came the bomb. A mutual friend from high school messaged me. "Did you see what Claire posted on Facebook?" She wrote a long, passive-aggressive rant about how some people will lie, cheat, and steal to get their perfect life, adding a screenshot. She never mentioned me by name, but the comments made it clear that everyone knew she was talking about me. People started speculating, and even some of my friends messaged me, wondering what had happened. I felt like I had been slapped in the face. I called Claire, determined to get to the bottom of it. "Claire, what the hell is going on? Why are you posting this stuff about me?" "I don't know, Laura," she said icily. "Why don't you tell me? What are you even talking about?" "Oh, come on," she sneered, her voice suddenly venomous. "You stole from me, Laura. You always have." I was stunned. "Claire, I have no idea what you're talking about. What did I supposedly steal? My life savings." "I know it was you. I just have to prove it." For a moment, I was speechless. "You think I stole your savings? Claire, that's insane. Why would I ever know? Don't act innocent. You've always wanted what's been in me, friends. My life, my happiness." Her words hit me like a brick. "Andrew," I stammered. "You think Are you out of your mind? You heard me," she said. "You couldn't stand seeing me succeed. You've always had it easy, Laura, and when things didn't go your way, you took it from me. Just admit it, Claire. This is insane," I said, my voice shaking. "I have my own life, my own marriage. I don't need anything from you. You can deny it all you want, but I know the truth. And soon everyone else will too. The call ended, leaving me in a state of complete shock. Over the next few weeks, the rumor spread like wildfire. Claire was reaching out to people, telling them that I'd stolen her savings, that I was somehow living the life she should have had. It was absurd. Or somehow people started to believe her. Friends I hadn't spoken to in years were suddenly messaging me, questioning my character. I was horrified. Claire had always been dramatic, but this was something else entirely. She was actively trying to destroy my life. My mom called me one evening, her voice filled with concern. Honey, I know you'd never do something like this, but she's been telling people, even her mom. I just don't know why she's doing this. I felt a lump form in my throat. Mom, I have no idea why. I didn't do anything to her. I know, sweetheart, she said softly, but Claire seems convinced. She says she has proof. That word haunted me. Proof. It didn't make any sense. But knowing her, I decided I needed to confront her. I took a flight to Chicago and showed up at her apartment unannounced. She opened the door, her eyes widening in surprise. What are you doing here? We need to talk, I said, pushing my way in. You need to stop this, Claire. I have no idea why you're doing this, but I won't let you destroy my life. She stared at me, her face unreadable. Then she smirked. Destroy your life. I didn't do that. You did that to yourself. Claire, what happened to you? We used to be friends. Are you willing to throw away years of friendship just to what? Ruin my reputation. She laughed bitterly. Friendship? Laura, don't kid yourself. We were never friends. You were just a convenient stepping stone. Someone I could lean on while I waited for my real life to start. But then you took it from me. Took what? Claire, my future, she said, her voice dripping with venom. Everything I wanted. The life I dreamed of. You took it all, Laura. I stared at her, realizing that she truly believed this. She really thought that my life, my happiness, belonged to her. Claire, that's insane, I said, my voice trembling with a mixture of disbelief and anger. You don't get to claim ownership over my life. You have your own. You choose your path, and I choose mine. Do you know what it's like? She interrupted. Every time I hit a wall, every time something didn't go my way, there you were, with your perfect family, perfect relationship, perfect everything. I shook my head. Claire, nothing about my life was handed to me. You have no idea what I've been through. You're just so wrapped up in your own jealousy that you can't see past it. And now you're inventing this lie to make yourself feel better. She scoffed. Of course, but I'm not stupid. Laura, I know what you did, and soon, everyone else will too. I took a deep breath, steeling myself. What are you talking about? Claire, you keep saying you know what I did, but you have nothing. This is all in your head. I have proof. Bank records, text messages, it's all there. Laura, you siphoned money from me, manipulated me. You even tried to sabotage my relationship with Aiden back in high school. Remember, Aiden, you're bringing him up now, I exclaimed incredulously. Claire, he was a teenage crush. We were kids. I never sabotaged anything. She snapped. Then why did he dump me? Why did everyone always choose you? I was the one left in the shadows while you took everything that was meant to be mine. I festered in resentment, growing, twisting her perception. I realized that the friendship I thought we had was something entirely different for her. Claire, listen to yourself. You're talking like I stole your whole life. You can't go through life blaming me or anyone else for what you don't have. That's on you. Her face darkened and she leaned forward, her voice dripping with venom. Get out of my apartment. You're not going to sit here and lecture me about my life. I took a step back, realizing there was no reasoning with her. She had crossed a line and she wasn't going to come back from it. The girl I once considered my best friend was gone, replaced by someone bitter and consumed with envy. Back in Tampa, I thought I could put the whole thing behind me. But Claire didn't stop. She kept posting vague accusations online. She even made an Instagram account solely dedicated to exposing me, posting fabricated screenshots of messages I supposedly sent her. Friends, people I've known since childhood, started reaching out, asking questions. Some were supportive, but others weren't. I could feel my reputation slipping through my fingers. One day, I got a call from an unknown number. Reluctantly, I picked it up. Laura, it's Claire's mom, Debbie. I don't know if I should be calling you, but I don't know who else to talk to. Debbie, are you okay? I asked immediately, worried. I hadn't spoken to Debbie in years. I'm fine, sweetheart, but it's clear she's not okay. I felt a pang of sympathy. Despite everything, I didn't want Claire to suffer. What's going on? Debbie took a deep breath. She's been in therapy. She started going after she accused you. I don't know what got into her, but she's been obsessing over things, rewriting history. Her therapist says she's dealing with something called projection, where she blames others or her own unhappiness. She's convinced herself that you're responsible for all her problems. You were just a target for her resentment, a scapegoat. She's going to get better. Laura, Debbie continued, her voice thick with emotion. She knows she's done wrong. She told her therapist that she started fabricating evidence because she thought no one would believe her otherwise. She's been obsessed with the idea that you stole something from her But now she's beginning to see that it was all. For a moment, I didn't know what to say. Part of me felt relieved, vindicated. Another part felt empty. Debbie, I don't know if I can forgive her, I admitted, my voice cracking. She tried to ruin my life. I know, sweetheart, I know, Debbie said softly. I'm not asking you to. I just wanted you to know that she's getting help. And maybe one day, maybe one day she'll be able to make amends. After the call ended, I sat there, feeling strangely at peace. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe again. I knew that Claire's apology, if it ever came, wouldn't undo the damage. But I didn't need it anymore. I realized that forgiveness wasn't about letting her back into my life. It was about freeing myself from the weight of her bitterness. A few months passed, the rumors died down, the accusations faded, and those who knew me never doubted my innocence. I stopped thinking about Claire every day, stopped checking her social media. It was like a dark cloud had finally lifted. Then, one afternoon, a letter arrived in the mail. The handwriting was unmistakably Claire's, shaky and uneven. I hesitated, wondering if I even wanted to read it, but something compelled me to open it. The letter was short and simple. Laura, I don't expect forgiveness, but I want you to know that I'm sorry. Therapy has made me confront things I didn't want to see about myself. I hurt you because I couldn't handle my own life, my own insecurities. I know nothing I say can undo what I did, but I hope one day you remember me for the friend I was. Claire, it was strange. I felt a rush of emotions, sadness, relief all mixed together. I didn't write back. I didn't call. I realized I didn't need her words to validate me. I had my own strength, my own life, and a family that loved me. In the end, I chose to move on. Claire would always be a part of my past, a painful lesson in friendship and trust. But she no longer had a hold on me. I had reclaimed my story, my truth, and I wasn't going to let her rewrite it. Years later, I heard through the grapevine that Claire had moved to a small town and started a family of her own. I wished her well in silence, hoping she'd found the happiness she'd been searching for all along. As for me, I moved forward. I found joy in the life I built. Claire's betrayal had taught me to value the people who truly cared, and in the end, the lesson of letting go was the greatest gift she could have given me. As I folded the letter and put it in the drawer, I couldn't shake the feeling that this was truly the end of an era. Claire had been such a part of my life. Even when she wasn't physically present, she had been this looming shadow. First as a friend, I took a deep breath, feeling like I was closing the last chapter of a very long, painful story. Time moved on. Andrew and I bought a house in a quiet neighborhood, close to my parents. Life was beautiful. I threw myself into my career, finding a new sense of purpose in the work I did, helping people, connecting with others. Slowly, I began to feel a sense of wholeness I hadn't known in years. About 2 years later, something unexpected happened. Andrew and I were in a bookstore browsing through some old paperbacks, and I heard someone say my name. I turned, and there she was, Claire. Her hair was shorter, and she looked a bit older, more worn. I felt a strange mixture of surprise, discomfort, and, oddly enough, pity. Laura, she said, her voice soft. There was no trace of the bitterness I remembered. No accusation, just a quiet resignation. Claire, I replied, keeping my voice neutral. My heart pounded, but I kept myself steady. She took a breath. I didn't expect to see you here. I was just, browsing. She gestured vaguely at the shelves, clearly at a loss. It's a nice place, I said, trying to keep the conversation casual. Andrew, sensing the tension, gave me a gentle nod, stepping away to give us some space. Claire watched him leave. Look, Laura, I know we've already I sent that letter, she stammered. But seeing you now, I feel like I owe you more than that. I know I hurt you. I know I caused you so much pain. And there's no excuse for what I did. Her eyes filled with tears, and she blinked them away, looking down. I was broken, Laura. I was so broken, and I couldn't see past my own misery. I was drowning, and I blamed you for everything. I thought that it would make me feel better. I swallowed hard. Claire, I don't think I'll ever fully understand why you did what you did, I said softly. But I'm glad you're getting help. I'm glad you're healing. I am. Therapy has been it's been a journey. I've had to face things about myself that I never wanted to admit, and part of that has been accepting that my unhappiness had nothing to do with you. You were just the closest target. She looked at me with something I hadn't seen in her eyes in years. Remorse. I don't expect us to be friends again, she continued. I just wanted you to know I truly am sorry. I hope you found peace, Laura. You deserve it. I took a deep breath, feeling a strange sense of closure wash over me. I have, I said simply. I really have. She nodded, a hint of a sad smile tugging at her lips. That's good. She glanced over her shoulder, almost like she was ready to leave. But then she looked back at me one last time. Take care, Laura, she said. And with that, she turned and walked out of the store, disappearing into the crowd outside. I stood there for a few minutes, trying to process what had just happened. It was strange. I felt like I had finally made peace with her. It was over. She was out of my life. A painful memory that had finally been laid to rest. When Andrew came back, he wrapped his arm around me, sensing that something significant had happened. "You okay?" Giving him a small smile. "I am. Really, I am." Over the following years, I sometimes wondered if she was happy, if she truly found peace within herself. I hoped she had, but I knew that I no longer needed her validation. I was free, unburdened by her shadows and the weight of our past. My life became beautifully ordinary. Andrew and I had a child. We grew closer with friends who were true, built memories filled with laughter and love. I realized that the life I once shared with Claire, the dreams we had as children in that rickety old treehouse, were no longer part of my story. They belonged to a different chapter. Years later, while cleaning out some old boxes in the attic, I found Claire's letter tucked away in a dusty box. I hadn't thought about it in years. I held it for a moment, remembering the hurt and betrayal, and then, with one final, freeing gesture, I let it go. Based on everything you've heard, do you think I handled this situation with Claire the best way I could? Or were there things I could have done differently? I'm interested in hearing your perspectives and opinions. So please let me know your thoughts and feelings about my story.